So in this video, we are smashing through our A to Z series in private practice, and we're going to kick off with with on it or in it. Oh, this is, you know what? I've read a lot about on it or in it. Go on, Matthew. What do we mean by this?
Basically, if you're a single clinician doing a private clinic and you're the sole person that is providing the service, you are working in your business. That's what that means. And if you're not working in your clinic, no one else is.
So that's it.
If you're working on your business, you're thinking. If you're thinking about on the business, what we're really meaning is taking that step up above, which is basically how can I get the service that I provide offered to patients without actually me being physically there.
Yep. And I'm going to jump in.
And you can apply that same level of thought. Go on, sorry.
No. I was going to say, I've had this as partners where we've only just started taking time out to work on the business and on the practice rather than seeing patients, i.e. in it. And it has been an absolute godsend in terms of improving our efficiencies because you need time to work through these, whatever it is. Sorry, thought I had to chip in.
The nice thing is when you're setting up a private clinic is at the start you won't have as many patients, but you can do a lot of work on the business at the start.
Yeah. So, as we sort of kick up, P for practicing privileges. Oh, this one crops up all the time. So, what do we mean by practicing privileges?
So, from a regulatory approval point of view, you need to have CQC or equivalent regulatory approval to do private practice. You also have to have it for the NHS, of course. It doesn't matter which side of the coin you're on, but practicing privileges is a thing you can use where if you're still working in the NHS as a GP and you want to do some private sessions as a GP, you can find a provider who is already offering CQC or approved services in a space, and you can use their CQC approval under practicing privileges to provide your service. So it's a way of being able to step into private practice without having to go full hog on getting a CQC registration and everything else. So you can kind of do it alongside your NHS work. I think it's quite a nice little way of entry into private practice, actually. I think it's a good thing. It's just finding a suitable person who's already regulated in the private sector and then negotiating with them to let you use their space, basically.
Makes perfect sense, which sort of leads into you can have your space and whatnot, but Q for quick access. Now, I think this means how you've managed to really streamline your booking process for your patients. How have you done that?
Basically, the electronic health records that I use called Semble basically allow patients to see when my calendar availability is and book their appointment there and then. So within a number of clicks, they can click, pay a small deposit. That's their appointment. They turn up. So that is quick access. I get this comment every week from patients. It's so easy to book. I literally have patients who will book on the day because they're looking for a service that day and they can book it and know that they can turn up at the time. And that is really valuable to people at the minute. That's something that you can't always get locally with the NHS. And it's a shame that is the case for the NHS point of view, but that is a big, unique selling point for private practice, being able to offer quick access and being able to offer it without them having to pick up a phone, without having to ask, without having to put in a load of details. They can put in the bare minimum of details, name, date of birth, an email address. You don't have to ask them everything. You can ask them very little, and they can have an appointment. Yay.
Done. Easy on that one. Yeah, and it's something that always crops up that patients, certainly NHS-wise, get frustrated at, understandably so. So with dealing, you've just done a video, check out the channel. There's a first 10 patients, and one bit that you really touched upon was R for reviews. What do you mean by that in terms of getting your reviews? Do you want to expand on that?
When was the last time you bought anything online and didn't look at a review for that product, service, anything at all? Even a builder, plumber, everybody has some sort of reviews, and that they are valuable. That it's basically a 24/7 way of someone basically validating your service and saying, I went to that clinic, I saw Dr. So-and-so, I received good care. And if you can get reviews like that, then the next person's more likely to book. And you can automate asking for reviews. So it's a really good way of basically just saying, every patient that comes to my clinic gets sent an email the day later saying, if you like the service, would you give us a review? Not everyone does that, as we all know, but enough people do. It's just a numbers game. So once you've got about 5 to 10 reviews, people start to snowball and go, I saw you had good reviews. That's why I've made an appointment. And I ask people how they find me and why they did it, and reviews comes up a lot.
Brilliant. And we'll leave a link below. We've got a thing about claiming your Google business account, got a separate video on that, and sort of like making sure that you drive reviews to that. So we're sort of linking with Google is S for SEO. What the heck do we mean by SEO? It always crops up.
One of the classic 3-letter acronyms in this.
I know. Let's debunk them. Yep.
Look, SEO is just basically a way of search engine optimization. That's what it means. It means that if somebody Googles for private doctor Glasgow or private doctor anywhere, the search engine will be able to trawl through your website and find those keywords and be able to present your website hopefully on the first page of Google. That is the aim. People don't start getting past one page even most of the time. So you want to be available on that point. So it's basically a way of making your website accessible and visible to search engines, and Google being the main one. There are others are available, of course, but the reality is that if you're not there, people don't click and then they don't make a booking. So yeah, you need to be SEO, and it's not easy. It's not intuitive. I got people to actually do this for my website, and it made such a difference. I think I had like 30% increase in traffic and bookings just purely from doing a bit of SEO. Worth it every time.
And it takes it, we touched on a previous video, so make sure you subscribe for that one about manager and getting, say, like a virtual assistant. But on the flip side, it's, there is that use of having someone else's expertise to really sort of enhance your business. We've touched upon this in terms of quick access and getting your patients in, which leads on to the final point for this video of T for time of appointments. Now, is an interesting one because I know people get scared about offering appointments, say, when they're meant to be doing NHS work or something like that. So when do you offer your appointments, or how do you manage it?
I mean, obviously you're not going to offer appointments when you're working in the NHS because you can't be in 2 places at once.
No, that would do not do that.
But in terms of time, you can offer your appointments whenever you want. So you can offer appointments at the weekend, you can offer appointments in the evening, you can offer appointments in the daytime. It depends. You might want to offer early morning appointments and evening appointments. That's your decision, your business. Ultimately, people turning up for the appointments will tell you whether or not it's a good idea or not. So you can be flexible with it when you start out. You can try doing one day early, one day later, whatever you want to do. You can try doing things on a Saturday or a Sunday. It may be restricted by what other things you can do on the day, like sending blood tests. For example, you're probably not going to do that as easily at the weekend, right? Because they're going to sit in a fridge, or freezer for 24, 48 hours. So you want to be careful about how you time it. I personally, I time it around my kids. So I start after school drop off and I finish before they pick up. I make it work for me, but it works for my patients as well. So that's why I do it. Timing's important.
And why not? So we'll end it there on the A to Z. So we've done loads of videos upon private practice A to Z as a suggestion from one of our webinar viewers. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. Comment down below, what alphabet have we got wrong, or have you thought of something different that you want us to expand upon? You never know, you might get your own separate video from there. And we'll see you soon.